Hello and welcome back to the Emberclaw Clan of New Reach and of course to RimWorld. Now today we're going to talk about guns, we're going to talk about plumbing, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. But before we do any of that, we need to get ourselves some steel because we currently don't have any and we're going to need some. So given that it is currently 9 AM, I think there's no better time than right now to jump into the world map. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did before. We're going to send a caravan out, mine as much as we can, and bring it all home. Now, this is going to give us 1152 steel in about a day and a half. That's not fast enough for me. So I am going to go ahead and form a caravan. I'm looking for somewhere close by that has a decent amount of rock. It doesn't need to be a huge amount, like that's absolutely perfect. We are going to send our caravan there. I am going to take everyone who can carry anything. The only person that I'm going to leave home is Lily, and that is just to look after our newborn. Now, we are also going to take any animals that can carry anything, just so that we can get as much hauling as possible on this trip. So that should be perfect. It's a little bit interesting that Prima Donna can't carry anything. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. In terms of supplies, we are not going to take any of that. We will take, I don't know, like 10 herbal medicine just in case something goes wrong, and like, I don't know, 200 jerky should be plenty. Let's go ahead and send them out. The only thing left to do now is go ahead and set everyone to be on the caravan food policy. That is going to allow them to actually eat said jerky. And everyone should gather up their things, move out to that new site, and we'll come back once they are there. Actually, Kiesel... Well, no, Kiesel can come. I was going to say he can stay home and continue farming, but I think it'll be fine to take him along. Also, while they're working on that, I never realized that this is currently unassigned from anything. So I am going to quickly reassign celery to grow there because currently this is the only celery patch we have. And that in turn is the only food patch we have. So that's probably going to be important, but I'll wait for these guys to leave the map and then we will come back. And as is always the way, they decided to take a nap as soon as they left because they left at about midnight because of that social fight. But we are going to go ahead and make camp here, just briefly, and hope that we have some steel. And we do. So we're going to mine that. We're going to mine that. And then I'm actually just going to select similar on the entire map so that I don't have to look for it and say mine vein. They should all get working on that. Now, I don't know if this is strictly necessary or not, but I am going to throw down a stockpile zone. This is just going to accept steel as well as jerky, just in case they need to put it down and get it out of their inventories. We will also double check whether or not there is any machinery on this map, and it looks like there is. So we will go ahead and select similar on that as well. Looks like there's some down here. We might not get to that, but if we do, then that will be good. If not, it is what it is. And then I'm going to look for Miranda here, and I'm going to prioritize her on the machinery just so that we can get that done first. The only other thing that I want to set up is a caravan hitching spot that can go right there and get to work. The only other thing, how many times can I say that? We need to set mining for absolutely everyone on this map. Whether or not they do it doesn't really matter. Miranda should be able to smash through this really quite quickly. If everyone can do it, it'll go a little bit faster. We'll probably get a little bit less material, but you know, it is what it is. We also have Buns here who can't really do much, but we at the very least will be able to use them to move this stuff around. Animapod has sprouted it on our actual map. We will go ahead and harvest that. Not that we're probably going to use it because we already have 2, I believe. But yeah, they're just going to mine for a little bit. Don't know how much they're going to be able to carry home, but we'll go up to about 1,000 and see if that works. I should probably also go ahead and say components can be in here just so we can see what we've got. Cargo pods, everything's happening while we're off the map. What is this? Human leather, human leather, human leather, human leather, and human leather. I'm going to leave those all disallowed because I don't think our colonists will particularly enjoy using any of that. And we'll leave that there. But that is 900 and 1,000 steel. Probably a little bit more now, 1,200 steel. let's go back to the world map. Let's form the caravan, say go back home. Actually, nope, sorry. Click on this one, reform caravan, go back home. Except let's go to our items here and how much can we actually take? We can only take 1104. There is 1389 on the map, so we are officially done with that task. And then in terms of travel supplies, I don't really care about the berries, so I'm going to leave them there. And that is all of our animals and people. That is all we need. That is all we need. Absolutely fantastic. If we do this, yeah, it's too heavy. Perfect. Send them home. They will immediately reform and begin traveling home, giving us access to a bunch more steel, which is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, hopefully they don't take a nap in the middle of this, but they should just get back home without any problems. Now, with that all said and done, advanced ammunition. I seem to have made a mistake somewhere, right? So apparently, I already have some ammunition unlocked. Now, I don't have all of this unlocked, but I do have some of it unlocked. So we could have actually been making guns quite a while ago. It is what it is. I do want to go ahead and start working on that though, and to do so is going to require a machining table, which I'm going to throw right there, as well as a loading bench. And I'm going to make that out of wood because we actually have a decent amount of it right now, and I think that can go ahead and live right about there. I'll get both of these built. We'll also build a machining cabinet just so that we can work a little bit faster. And then we can actually start making guns, which is very, very exciting. The world is about to become a lot less scary, but we'll get everyone back. They'll continue working on some of this construction, and we will go from there. All right, we officially have a machining table and an ammo loading spot, if I can click on it. And that is going to allow us to make some ammunition and some guns. Now, I did previously have a little bit of a look through this and figure out what I might want. And I think, honestly, my best bet is to go for the Bullpup DMR. And the reason that I've chosen this gun is because it has a pretty insane range of 85. It's actually 75. It's actually 85 once the bipods are down, as you can see up here. It uses, where is it? It uses 7.6254 R ammo. And if we click on that and we use the armor piercing variety, hover over this, we can see it has a blunt penetration of 67.34, which is super high, and sharp penetration of 14 millimeter. I believe we get sharp penetration when shooting it. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but you know, that is what it is. So this is the gun that I want to choose, but I don't want to give it to everyone. I want this gun to be specifically for anyone who has a shooting of like 10 or above, potentially 8 or above. And then everyone else is going to get something else. I haven't quite figured out what that is going to be yet, but that is the plan. So in terms of what we have here, we have 5 pawns that would officially get one of these. So for right now, I'm just going to say do until you have 6 of them. We'll make a spare. This does require some plasteel, but I'm absolutely okay with that. We can go ahead and count-equipped. I want these to be 52% or above, if I can get to 52, and of normal to legendary quality. That'll be great. Now, this requires ammo, so we're going to have to build some of that as well. And the ammo that it uses is 7.62, and it is the 54mm R cartridges, I believe. I believe that's what we need. So I'm going to go ahead and start making those. I'm going to just say do this until you have, I don't know, like 1,000 should be enough. Don't count equipped, look everywhere, and that'll be good. So they'll get started working on that. I believe we do have some people who can do it. I believe this is a smithing task. Yeah, make weapons. I believe this is a smithing task. If no one starts working on it, then we know we've done something wrong, but that should be good for the moment. So I'm going to let them get on with that, and then we'll worry about reassigning them once we actually have some guns to reassign. And there it is. Our first gun. Oh, it's so exciting. We unfortunately don't have any ammo for it yet though, so I will go ahead and say, Puma, after you've eaten that, can you go ahead and prioritize making some ammo for it? And then our first person can go ahead and get assigned a rifle. Oh, it feels good to not have to use crossbows anymore. We are still slowly but surely working away at this floor. It's getting there. It's slow. It is what it is. To speed that up a little bit, there is something we can do. So our stone tables over here are currently all the way over here. All of our stone is sitting here. That just doesn't make a ton of sense. And we also have unlocked the ability to go ahead and get the electric version of that. We can either make that out of wood or steel. Wood is actually no longer an issue for us at all. We have 2,600 in storage just because we aren't burning it anymore. So I'm going to throw that down there. I will go ahead and reinstall that workbench there. Get another workbench there. And another workbench there. Another workbench up here for this table. And another workbench up here for this. And we're going to go into the process of removing all of the crafting benches from here and moving them over. That shouldn't take too long. The crafting bench can pretty much just be moved straight over. The tailoring bench I would like to upgrade to the electric version, and again we're going to make that out of wood. That's going to sit right there. We can go ahead and move the what are they called? Tailoring cabinets to be there and there, and we can go ahead and move this to be right about there. Should be fine. And I don't know if this will reach that, but we'll see. And that's going to be at least a good start. Then we need to go ahead and move the smithy as well as the wooden seed packing bench. We can actually do that right now. That is going to sit right about there. And the smithy is going to also be upgraded to electric. That is going to sit right there. And we can move the smithing cabinet right to there. We'll do that and see what we're left with in here. I think that's about it, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'll let them get on with that and we'll come back. All right, advanced ammunition is officially finished. So we can now pretty much make any weapons we want, which is exactly what I wanted. I did not realize that we could have worked our way through that a little bit slower, but you know, it is what it is. At this point, I think I would like to jump into Dub's bad hygiene just a little bit. Get into plumbing, get into modern bathroom fixtures, and get into electric pumps. I think that is going to be a good place to start there. There's nothing really, I don't know what to do next. We could go into hydroponics. We could go into like advanced lights. I don't see the reason to get into that though. Things like sterile materials could be nice. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure where to go with the research from here. We could also do deep drilling, which would potentially help us out with getting more steel and things. It's potential. It's possible. I don't know what to do. So if you guys have any suggestions on where we should move into the research tree next, that would be absolutely fantastic. But for right now, I'm going to do plumbing. I'm not going to start that research yet. It is currently the 11th, so I will probably start that on either the 15th or the 1st, probably the 1st. And that should be good. We do, however, have our first gun and our first lot of ammo. So we're going to jump into numbers here. Dragon the second is our best shooter at the moment, so he is going to officially get the very first rifle. I'm going to go into our loadouts, grab the crossbow loadout, copy that over, and this is going to be the bullpup DMR loadout. I'm going to remove the crossbow and the crossbow bolts. This is going to be the bullpup DMR as well as armor piercing ammo for said gun. I'm going to give them, I don't know, like 100 rounds. Seems reasonable to me. I don't know how many we're going to need. Our raids are quite large at the moment, so I think that should be enough. And go from there. And I did say that was going to go to Dragon, so they are going to get the bullpup DMR and go ahead and rearm. They should pick that up nice and quickly. I did also go ahead and move all of our recipes over to the electric smithy. I did have to go ahead and redo who counts as a person, and that didn't carry across, unfortunately, but you know, it didn't take too long to do because we did save those searches as well. So Dragon should come in here in just a second, and he just did. let's go ahead and have a look at what that looks like. So you officially have ammo for that. You have it equipped. We are going to reload that just to make sure that you're ready at all times. Armor piercing ammo. Let's go ahead and draft. And there it is. Bullpup DMR with a very nice range. I like it a lot. Now, it's not the fastest rifle. I will say that right off the bat. It's not the fastest rifle, but it does good damage. And it actually has like a double shot thing, I believe. If we jump in here and have a look at it. Whilst it shares similarities with a standard bolt action rifle, it trades off its damage for firing 2 shots in quick succession. Due to lightweight material, it's quick to draw and fire. This comes from Vanilla Weapons Expanded Quick Draw. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good addition to our colony. Our first official gun. But I'm going to let them continue on with this, and we will come back. Alright, we have a pack of man-hunting terror birds. And that is honestly a lot. That's unfortunate. I am going to set everyone to be in the safe area for the moment. I'm going to hope that they make their way up to our traps up here, but if they don't, which they probably won't because they're all down here, maybe some of them will. We're just going to have to wait this out, I think. Thankfully, our meditation spot is now officially in here, and these guys might also deal with them as they come through, which would be nice to see. Once these guys leave, hopefully they leave in this direction and deal with this for us. But at the moment, yeah, a couple of them are going through our traps, but most of them are just hanging around. So I will keep an eye on this. This room is almost done, which is fantastic. And we'll see how this goes. It looks like they might leave all the way through them. So this will be interesting. Let's see how this goes. This is not my fault. I didn't mean to slaughter your entire camp. And they actually just broke in. I did not realize that. And hopefully we can deal with this. We might have to go ahead and draft everyone though. Because that's actually a little bit terrifying. Let's draft everyone. Let's get them all to gather down here for the moment, out of sight of everyone at the very least. These ones look like the ones that we're going to have to deal with, so let's go ahead and set up over here for now. Let's get everyone to hold their fire, because I don't want to accidentally shoot our guests. I feel like that would be rude. Alright, now our guests are all down, so we can go ahead and fire at will. And actually, this is a little bit scary. Puma, you go ahead and deal with that one. We'll get a thunderbolt in up here, which didn't really do a lot. Let's go ahead and slow this down to half speed. Medic is officially got the gun. Dragon also has a gun, so I don't want them right next to the terror bird. That sounds like a bad idea. Puma, go ahead and attack that one. Dragon is moving. Where is my other melee? Ruben is all the way over here. Okay. Medic is officially shooting at that one. That's good. But there are more coming in. Okay. A little bit scary. A little bit scary. Let's go ahead and get you back. You back. That one's down. Perfect. Ruben, if you could please go ahead and just set off an explosion or at least a flame ball. You can't see over there yet. Perfect. Alright, come on in. Hilarious is taking some decent damage. Dragon and Medic are shooting though. Dragon is now no longer shooting. Puma, go ahead and attack that one. Puma, I might even get to come over here. And you two, are you guys shooting at all? Shoot at that one. Ruben, you can go ahead and do... not a lot at all. Let's go ahead and... Nope, that one. Come on. I think we'll be okay. We might have some decent damage on us though. This was not a good fight. I did not realize they were coming in. Let's at the very least get Medic and Dragon to come back a little bit more. Alright, Ruben should be able to help clean this up a little bit. Perfect. That means Ilarius can now come back and disengage, I hope. Medic might not have a shot. Yeah, can't hit target. So medic, come up a little bit. Medic should now have a shot. Can I just say don't set up your bipod? Is that an option? Maybe it's not. Alright, we're shooting again now, which should help out. Dragon is not shooting either, which is not ideal. Ruben is working on that one, and Puma is working on this one. One's down. Let's get Puma over here to deal with this one as well. We should be okay. We should be okay, but I definitely did not play that well. I did not think they were going to come in so fast. But that is, I believe, all of them down, apart from the ones that are out here. For right now, I am going to undraft everybody so that they can go ahead and do the things that they need to do to get healed up. I don't think anyone is in serious danger of dying. Yeah, no, they're all fine. So, in fact, I will redraft everyone and just wait over here for now. Let's ignore the slowdown, speed it up a little bit. And yeah, we should now be able to go ahead and actually set up our line because they should come in and pass through here. And when they're in here, they should be, you know, much better at taking them out, for instance, as such. All right, that was honestly a little bit scary, but we're okay. We're okay. We just need to wait for these ones. I'm gonna let them kill this guy. It's gonna take a minute. Actually, let's just send Dragon and Medic, who I believe is there. Get them to come out and just stand here and we can take pot shots. And honestly, this should be pretty quick. One down, and there we go. That's all the threats dealt with. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and say, any of them still standing? Yeah, you are. Let's double click on you, finish off any remaining, and everyone can officially be undrafted. I did not mean for that to be as scary as it was. I'm just going to let these guys bleed out. I don't care that much. It is what it is. And we'll continue on with our day like nothing ever happened. Yeah, that is not the way to deal with that. But, you know, we lived. No one died. I'm going to call that a win. That's how our guns work. They're much better than crossbows, for sure. Well, this is tempting. Do you think we can take on 36 man-hunting Megalahydrus? Megalanhydrus? I believe that's how you pronounce that. For another large vanometric power cell. I mean, I'm tempted. I am very tempted. None of our traps are currently up, but we have some guns. How close are we to getting another one? We actually already have one, so let's go ahead and assign that to Ilarius real quick. Ilarius is here. You can now go ahead and get that. Go ahead and rearm yourself. We'll make sure that you have that in your inventory before we accept. Actually, that's not necessary. Because they're going to take 6 hours to get here, so let's just see how it goes. I would very much like the large vanometric power cell. It also gives us 2 death rest capacity serum times 2. I don't know why I said 2 times death rest capacity serum times 2, but you know, you understand what I mean. A serum that permanently increases the number of death rest buildings a person can connect to during death rest. Okay, so we need the death rest gene in order for that to actually do anything. We don't have that, but a large vanometric power cell and some more plasteel would go over quite nicely because our power is currently struggling a little bit. When these are all running at full capacity, we are absolutely fine. We have an extra excess of over 5,000 watts, but when they're not, our batteries do get quite low. Now, we could obviously build more batteries, but another power cell would definitely help out with that quite a lot. For right now, I'm going to leave everyone assigned to the safe zone. Will I? No. Let's go ahead and unrestrict everyone again, just so they can clean up any mess outside of our base, and we will go from there. They'll also actually be able to start working on these traps again, which may or may not help. But I'm going to play this one a lot safer than I did the last one, so that should be good, at the very least. Alright, there they are. Let's have a look at what we're dealing with. This shouldn't be too bad. I don't believe these guys have much armor, if any. If we can see here, I don't know where it says. Body part. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be okay. Thankfully, they are all coming up the top as well. So let's go ahead and draft everybody. I'm going to set them all down here for the moment. Ilarius, I'm going to use as bait a little bit, just to make sure that they do come in this way. It looks like they're going to anyway. Ilarius can take some pot shots while he's out there as well, which honestly can't hurt. And as soon as they get close-ish, we'll move Ilarius down. He is, however, going to go in that way, which I did not expect. Hopefully, as soon as this door closes, they decide that there is an easier way, and they do, thankfully. That is good. Let's go ahead and get some people on our turrets. So in terms of shooting, these three... Well, no, Miranda doesn't have a gun yet. Dragon, Ilarius, and Medic all have guns. So Miranda and Catrion can go ahead and man our turrets. Catrion can go there, and Miranda, if I can find you, can go there. Let's go ahead and get Tisol moved over. Let's get Puma to go where that was. Ruben can go in the middle. Someone is currently walking there. I believe that's Ueli. So Ueli, you move over there. Ruben, you move to there. Ilarius, you can come up to here. Lily, you can come over to there. And that is a lot of animals, but I think we'll be okay. We have pretty decent firepower. Catrion, why on earth? Okay, that is not allowed. That is not allowed. Catrion, just come back and man that turret. Miranda is having to walk all the way back and forth because this still has all of the ammo in it for some reason. Let's drop a whole bunch of that. I will allow them to use that. And we are probably going to need some kind of psychos on this as well as our combat command. We also have fire spew, but that doesn't have very much range. So for right now, we are going to... Honestly, let's set up another vortex. That'll at least hinder them a little bit. And then if anyone gets too close, we can start thinking about something else. But for right now, it seems like we're doing a pretty decent job at holding them back. They are getting a little bit closer than I would like, so let's go ahead and set up an explosion in there. That is going to set off a fire alert, but that should be okay. Let's get a thunderbolt a little bit closer. Get this one down, please. There we go. Perfect. And we're doing okay. We're definitely doing okay. Let's get another explosion in. Perfect. Still quite a few up, but we are holding them back quite nicely. A little bit scary, but not too bad so far. I'm pretty happy with it. What are you doing? You're just wandering around? Perfect. Miranda, can you please not do that? Okay, no one's on the turrets anymore. They are a liability, and Miranda should not step into all of that gunfire. So we'll just leave them at the back for now. We could even potentially move Ruben and Puma back and take their spots with Miranda and Catrion so that everyone can shoot. Our vortex is officially done, but we can still do thunderbolts and explosions. Get everything knocked out here. I think we're almost there. This one is getting a little bit close for comfort, but it is down. And I believe we have two more. This one's a little bit slow. Let's speed it up a little bit as they come in. And take them out. Perfect. See, that is how you deal with a pack of wild animals. The first way was not it. All right. Anyone still alive? Yes. Let's go ahead and finish them off. Everyone can now officially be undrafted, and we have just earned ourselves another large vanometric power cell, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. This also has ammo in it now, which is also fantastic. We have the pods arriving. Let's go ahead and check that out. This is going to go ahead and get installed right down there. And what else did we get? We got some Death Rest Capacity Serum and some Plasteel. We'll just hold those urgently, and that should be okay. We are very close to getting this done, so we will come back once that has happened and move on to the next thing. And with that, plumbing is officially complete. Modern bathroom fixtures I think is going to be next. But I do want to have a quick look and see, maybe it would be worth going solar panel next, just so that we can go ahead and actually get a little bit more of a stable source of power. Potentially. Otherwise, potentially biofuel refining could be something that I'm interested in. Night vision ocular. Interesting. I think I'm going to stick with the plan and go for hygiene. Modern bathroom fixtures, we are going to have to wait a little bit for that. While we are waiting, I'm going to go ahead and deconstruct all of this, and then we can start planning out our ideology room. I think that is going to be the next step. Oh my goodness. The psychic rain is ending. I think that lasted for about 2 years. My goodness, and that's all we get. We get a little notification pop up that I almost missed. Oh, that is so very exciting. I am so very excited. If I can I find that? How do you spell psychic? I think it's like that. I probably can't. Yeah, no, I can't scroll down that far. Yeah, the psychic rain is officially ending. Unfortunately, I can't see when it started, and I no longer have the thing to hover over, but last time I checked, it was at 1.7 years. So that is excellent. I am now going to go ahead and remove all of these outside roofs, because I would like my people to actually see some sunlight as they're moving around this base. I will leave it over these rooms, because, you know, they're eventually going to be rooms. But everywhere else is going to have removed roofs. Everyone can go outside again. Oh, that is fantastic. It is about damn time. About damn time. Perfect. They will get on with that, as well as deconstructing this room, and then we will go from there. Nanan the Second has officially grown up, which is absolutely amazing. They currently have a point into crafting. Their intellect is also quite high. And we get to choose one skill out of construction and art. I mean, that's a pretty obvious choice. We're definitely going for construction there. And in terms of their trait, body purist, I don't really want. Rebel, I don't really want. Misogynist, I don't really want. So the only option that is, you know, not bad is brave. That's going to give them a mental break threshold of -20%, pain shock threshold of +20%, and a global certainty loss factor of ×25%. Perfect. Nanan is officially 10, and that means they can now Doctor, Warden, Construct, do art, paint, smooth, deconstruct, maintain, and be a surgeon. And with that, I'm going to change their schedule around a little bit. Currently, they're on recreation all the time. I still want them to have quite a lot of recreation, so we're going to start with them out with 4 hours in the morning and then 6 hours at night. In the middle here, they can do anything, but we will go ahead and change their priorities. So currently you can be a patient. You don't have any doctoring skills, but that's fine. We don't need you to do that. I also added a mod that adds capture in here. So for right now, I'm going to set that to priority 2 for absolutely everyone. I'll explain that a little bit later, as soon as we get a raid, probably. But Nanan can, honestly, Nanan can probably start doing childcare if they really want to. Let's go priority 1 for that. They still can't do undertaking, that's fine. Wardening, they could probably do as well to work on their social skills. I think I'm going to leave it for the moment. With a really good intellectual skill, I will get them to start doing some management jobs. I think that'll be good. Construction, I will throw them on priority 4 because I would like them to learn how to be construction focused. And then priority 3 is going to be on crafting. And all of the levels of crafting. And then priority 5 or 6 can be on hauling and cleaning. Still can't do research yet, but that is okay. For right now, I want you to really level up your crafting skills so we can get a whole bunch of stuff crafted and also work on a little bit of construction, and I think that'll be really good. So that is what we're going to do with Nanan. Buns is still growing up. They're currently at level 5 and potentially will get to level 6, which will mean we have 3 options for passions and 4 options for traits. Maybe level 7, potentially, but it's going to be close. Anyway, that is fantastic. It is currently the 2nd of August. We still can't start this research project yet because we will get a raid because of it. So for right now, I'm going to leave that there. We are still working on deconstructing all of this, but we officially can see the sun again, which is just absolutely fantastic. No one's sad that they're trapped inside anymore. Oh, I'm so happy about that. Our power is still struggling a little bit, even with those 2 vanometric power cells and our geothermal generator. But I think we're doing okay enough that we don't have to worry about it too much. The one thing that we do need to worry about, though, is steel. How long is it until our next delivery? That is the wrong one. 5 days, 3 hours. We may have to do one more caravan where we go out and collect a little bit more because we are using quite a lot of steel in setting up this room. So with that being said, I'll wait until morning after everyone's woken up from their sleep, and we might go ahead and do just that. It is officially 7 a.m, so we're going to do the exact same thing that we did last time. We're going to form a caravan and figure out somewhere for them to go. That'll do. There's plenty of stone. Let's go ahead and set a waypoint there. We are going to take absolutely everyone again, except for Matthew and, of course, Lily. We aren't going to take any items with us, but we will go ahead and take all of our animals that can haul things. So that is that. Travel supplies, we're going to turn off automatic. No kibble. We will take no lavish meals. We will take a little bit of jerky. I'm going to take, again, 500. I think that'll be fine. And sure, you can take 28 herbal medicine. We'll send them off. They should collect all their things, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we did last time. Mine a bunch of steel, bring it back to our colony. Excuse me. Caravan demand by the Omulant Kingdom. Catrion's caravan has been ambushed by a group of 4 subjects from the Omulant Kingdom. They will attack unless you give them a 47 jerky, which I'd be okay with, but they're not getting my gun. We are absolutely going to fight that, and we honestly shouldn't have any problems whatsoever, especially with this giant river. This should be nice and easy. Let's set everyone up in a nice straight line, and honestly, we should be able to take them out from here because our bullpup rifle has insane range. And we start shooting. And 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, 4 down. Easy peasy. Is there any steel on this map? Because if there is, I will go ahead and take it, but it's an encounter map, so I'm not 100% sure if it can even spawn that, but no. We can now reform the caravan. Do we want to take any of the things off of these guys? Concrete light club. You don't. Oh, you have a hatchet. You have a sling, tomahawk, and a steel knife. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. So let's jump back to the world map, reform the caravan, and I would like you to go there, please. Except, and I don't want to capture. Well, do I want to capture any of these guys? Cooking animals are probably not. Let's see. Animals, no. Mining 13. You would be good, but honestly, I think it'll be a pain in the ass trying to get that done. You also have a little bit of crafting. I think I'm just going to leave it as is. Make sure you take all of your travel supplies, which apparently is a bunch of simple bakes. I don't know where they came from, but sure. And that's it. So let's go ahead and send them on their way. They can now go ahead and make camp. Absolutely beautiful. And straight away, we have some compacted steel. Let's go ahead and select similar. And it looks like it's all, well, we can probably go for this chunk, but what is this? That is gold. Do we care about the gold? Probably not. I think I will go ahead and mine that vein and mine that vein, and then say, everyone please come over here. So we are going to start with a stockpile zone right there. This is going to hold steel, not steel. I would like steel, please, clear all. Steel, jerky, and I would also like it to hold, no, that's it. I believe that's it. That'll be fine, and we will go ahead and set up a quick caravan hitching spot right over here. Everyone should gather in this general vicinity and start mining, which will be absolutely fantastic. Everyone should still be, nope, no one set up to mine. Okay, let's go ahead and set everyone on mining, please. and get them working. Let's gather up as much as we possibly can in a short amount of time as we possibly can, and then we'll get back to base with all of this steel. That should do us. Let's go ahead and jump back into the world map. We will reform our caravan, head back home, except take everyone with us. I would like to take as much steel as I possibly can, which is only 933, which is a little bit less than I would like. But I guess that is what it is. And then in terms of travel supplies, we could potentially leave the jerky behind. It doesn't weigh that much. I think we're just going to go with what we can take, which is 933. We'll send them on their way and see what happens. I mean, they should get home nice and safe and sound. I don't think there's anything particular that we need to worry about. And then we should be able to continue on making our weaponry. So we'll come back in a little bit. All right, we officially can do another Pulse of the Clan, and I would love to, but all of our drums are currently packed up, and we don't even have a fire pit, so we should probably go ahead and build those. Let's grab ourselves a granite fire pit for the moment. I'm just going to throw it down here for now. Eventually it will end up in this room, but, you know, we have a Pulse of the Clan to do, so we need to get this up and running a little bit quicker than this is going to happen. So that is what it is. We'll go ahead and assign someone to construct all of this. Ueli is currently removing a roof. You can prioritize working on that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and then that. And then we can go ahead and do a Pulse of the Clan in the morning when everyone is up and about. I believe we also can safely go ahead and start another research project. So that is going to be modern bathroom fixtures. We'll get that going and continue on from there. All right, we have officially got a fireplace. Hopefully, nope. Can someone please prioritize refueling said fireplace? And with that done, we can now begin another Pulse of the Clan. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a room yet, so we only have 75% expected quality, but we still have roughly, what's that? 5, 6, 7, like 80, 75, 80% chance of having a fun or unforgettable Pulse of the Clan, so we will go ahead and get that done. This gives us development points, and it also gives us goodwill from nearby factions. So I definitely think it's worth doing. Everyone's going to grab their Emberclaw Clan glasses, gather around the fire, beat on some drums, and have a jolly good time. I hope. It might be an awful time, but, you know, that is what it is. It was, in fact, fun. We now have 2 more development points. We have 12. I don't know how many we need to reform, but we should probably just quickly double check on that. Ideology is this button. We need 14, so we're almost there. We also have a mad squirrel just wandering about, which is honestly a little bit annoying. I might go ahead and send Ruben down to beat it to death with a stick. I think that'll be okay. You go ahead and attack that. That'll get that sorted, and we'll continue working on this room here. And we have some mad muffalos. It looks like it's only 3 of them, so in order to deal with that, I think I'm going to grab everyone with a gun and draft them up and send them right on out this way. They have a serious amount of range on them. They're coming a little bit close. Maybe we'll start over here just to, you know, make this a little bit easier. Okay, they're running away a little bit. All right, now we can start shooting at them. Let's just make sure everyone is in actually a line so they don't shoot each other in the back. I still am not 100% sure on how friendly fire works in Combat Extended, but, you know. Okay, there's one left that decided that it didn't want to join the group. Maybe it'll come up and do some things through our traps, which are officially built, which is nice. So for the moment, I'm going to undraft these guys. I will keep an eye on this Muffalo just to make sure that it is actually going to behave itself. And just also double check that no one is actually running out of this door. All right, Muffalo is down. We can now go ahead and finish you off. That's a decent amount of meat. A little bit of Muffalo wool. I think that'll be good overall. This is getting there. We are still working on deconstructing all of this roof, and then I would like to deconstruct everything in this room. as well as everything in this room, move that all on over. I'm potentially thinking we might need to add another storage room just for overflow, because I don't know if this is even going to be enough, but we'll see how that goes. They'll continue working on this for the moment and we'll come back. Alright, it just occurred to me that quivers are probably not all that useful for people with a gun. And they are still wearing them, I believe. Yeah, you have a quiver. Now, what does the quiver actually do? It holds arrows, and it gives you plus 10 reload speed. Maybe that does count for guns. I'm actually not sure, but I figured it's probably better off using ammo packs. Bandolier with ammunition. This goes in the utility slot. Gives you plus 10% reload speed and plus 3.5 bolt capacity. I set this up to be anyone with a ranged weapon, just to make a little bit extra. I don't know if quivers and ammo packs basically do the same thing or not, but we're going to make them just in case they don't. A group of Megatardii have wandered in, and they are carrying some stuff. So you have poison draft on you. You have disposable rocket launchers. A lightweight single-use anti-tank launcher designed to provide soldiers in the field with a compact anti-armor weapon. Interesting. And 81mm mortar shell toxic. Very interesting. You have some medicine, which will be lovely. You have a little bit more ammunition. I mean, we could probably hunt them, right? In terms of, well, what is your carrying capacity? Should we actually just get some? Your carrying capacity is 80 kilos. That's not bad. And your training ability is none. Okay. In terms of whether or not you will kill me if I try and tame you, 3% chance that you will try and kill me. I think that's worth it. The Megatardii is a massive and curious creature, mutated from its tiny tardigrade origins to become a behemoth of the wasteland. Though slow and blind, it requires a very little sustenance to survive and can consume even the most toxic waste packs. With its 6 legs, the Megatardii is an impressive sight, and its gentle nature makes it a popular pack animal amongst those brave enough to venture into the polluted world. Though it is easily tamed, the Megatardii is not without its dangers. Upon its death, it releases a cloud of toxic gas, making it a potential hazard for anyone nearby. Despite this, the Megatardii remains a valuable asset for those willing to take on the challenges of the polluted wasteland. Interesting. Let me just quickly check on what a donkey can hold. It can hold somewhere in here 56 kilos. The fact that they explode toxic gas when they die makes me not want to take them. That leaves me a little bit wary. I might go ahead and hunt them just to grab their stuff. 5% base chance to attack when harmed. I think that's okay. I might even go ahead and do this manually with all of our gunned people. So I'll draft you guys. I will say this is a drafted hunt. Hunt designated animals only. And we are going to do this from the greatest distance that we possibly can. Just to make sure that, you know, we don't die to their toxic gas, because that sounds like a bad time. Hopefully we have at least a shot on one of them. It doesn't look like we have a shot on any of them. That is unfortunate. Let's move up a little bit closer. At the very least, if they do become aggro, they will have to walk through the water, which is going to be slow for them. So that should be fine. You're going to have revenge on me, and you're dead. Next one. All right, decent shots so far. A little bit of reloading action there, and you're dead. And last one. Going to hide behind a rock. Of course you are. Come here. Let's just finish this off. All right, you're downed. I am actually going to go ahead and say, everyone, please. Where is the gun? Where is the gun? Do one of you not have a gun? What? Wait, what? Oh, Catrion doesn't have a gun. That's why. Bullpup DMR and go ahead and shoot at that guy. Just until he's actually dead. There we go. Now we don't have to worry about that toxic smoke. I imagine that will clear on its own. For right now, we are going to undraft everyone. Yeah, that toxic gas doesn't last very long. But still, I didn't want to risk it. It would have been kind of cool to have, but I'm fine with not having them. All right, modern bathroom fixtures is officially done. Electric pumps is going to be next. We are going to have to wait till the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th to do that. So we'll probably start that on the 12th just to be safe. But in the meantime, they'll work on this. I'm wondering whether or not we should actually start setting up some of the plumbing, because we can do a decent amount of the setup before we actually get things up and running. We have 591 steel at the moment. We are going to have to use a lot of it for plumbing, but I think it'll be okay. Let's go ahead and start setting this up. So I want a water well. I would like that to be somewhere around here. I think that'll be fine. We are going to use a steel water tower, 75 steel for that. And throw that right about there. And then I'm going to grab myself some pipes. They are going to run straight down here through all of those right to there. Actually, let's go a little bit further. That'll be fine. I want this in this bathroom as well, so we should be able to just run that straight to there. I would like a little bit of water in my kitchen, so I will go ahead and set that up to there. And last but not least, I would like a little bit of water in my prison, so that can go to there. They can start working on that as well as deconstructing all this, but they'll probably prioritize the pipes just because they seem to prioritize constructing rather than deconstructing, and we can move on and go from there. Actually, one more thing we need is a sewage outlet, and while I would love to build this somewhere over here, well, I could run it over this wall, which I think will be fine. Let's go ahead and set up our sewage outlet to be there, maybe. This is going to spread, but that is what it is. So let's go steel pipe. I'm going to run that straight down through this wall, and then we can use that wall there to hide the rest of it, and I think that'll be okay. Plan is ultimately to get toilets and showers and sinks into each of our bedrooms, and have the waste go out over there. So I think that'll be good. We'll get them working on that, and we will come back in a little bit. All right, a colonist can officially gain expertise. That is Ruben Moretta in cooking. And the question is, what do we want? We can do gourmet. They improve meals beyond their usual level of quality. That could be nice. Flavor master is an expert that is in randomly adding cooking condiments to meals on a whim. We don't actually have any condiments yet, so that's probably not the right choice. Butchering, probably not. Drug cooking, we're not doing that either. Food hygiene might be nice. We did just have a bout of food poisoning, but I honestly don't think it came from Ruben. And we then also have feeding, an expertise in creating large amounts of meals to feed many people quickly. That is what I'm going to choose. That is going to increase their cooking speed, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic. And Ruben is, priority 3, butcher and cook. I'm going to set you to priority 4, butcher, just so that you get the cooking done first, now that you're so good at it. Actually surpassed Lily, which is very, very interesting. Ueli is still on butchering 4. I may go ahead and change Lily back down to 3, just so that someone is priority butcher, and that should be okay and good to go. All right, and our first raid is coming in. The Blue Pit Settlement have dropped in right on top of you. Where are you landing? In there. That's not too bad. I am okay with that. Yeah, I think we can deal with that pretty well. Let's go ahead and get everyone drafted up. Let's say draft, and I am going to go ahead and draft everyone to be over here. I think that'll be a decent plan. I'm going to get Buns to be drafted as well. You're going to go out through this door. I'm going to say hold open. Puma is going to go out through that door, and I'm going to say hold open. That way, hopefully, these guys can get out fast enough before, please, Buns. Please. Yeah, Buns is out. Okay, perfect. Buns, you just run out there. You don't need to see this. And then hopefully everyone else won't actually go through this room. So let me just quickly unallow all of these doors, because I know my colonists can be stupid sometimes. They will probably destroy a bunch of stuff in here, but that's fine because we're still setting up. And we have a couple people out already, and let's start this fight. Let's do it. All right, you have a decent sized gun. That is a little bit scary. Ruben and Puma, you please go ahead and do a thunderbolt there. Dragon, you stop there for a second and please start shooting at you. Perfect. Who else have we got? Keysol is still coming in. That's fine. Dragon can come up here for the moment. Hopefully get a shot on some of these guys. Keysol is still coming in. That is fine. Let's go ahead and get Dragon down this line here. They're doing a decent amount of damage to our stuff, but I don't care about stuff that much. Now, Dragon isn't going to have a lot of, you know, protection from things here, but he should still get pretty decent shots and hopefully lure some of them out. Perfect. That went well. Let's go ahead and move Dragon up. And let's actually move Medic, Ilarius, and does anyone else have a gun? Not that I can see. Let's move them up as well. Hopefully take these guys out nice and quickly. Alright, they're there. You can come down here. Perfect. Nice clean shots. Ilarius is a little bit too close for comfort there. Ilarius, can you please run away? Perfect. Alright, medical emergency. That is on Puma. Puma is bleeding out. Where is Catrion? Go ahead and tend to Puma, please. You are fleeing, but that's fine. Everyone's fleeing now. Perfect. We've managed to do it. Everyone can now be undrafted. You guys can get undrafted. I want to do this individually just so that I'm not having too much of a problem. I will, for the moment, hold this open just so that our people can, or the people in here can go ahead and escape. Everyone up here can also please be undrafted for the moment. I will leave Catrion and Puma drafted for right now just so that we can get that dealt with. And that should be good to go. Everyone should come in here and put out those fires. Absolutely fantastic. Is there anyone we want? That is the question. Let's go ahead and hide that panel. No to you. You are mining, but you're unwaveringly loyal. Of course you are. There is someone in here. Crafting? Maybe. Yeah, let's go ahead and take them. So they're bleeding out in 2 hours. I have a new mod called Smart Capture Them, I believe is what it's called. I just added it to the bottom of my load order. It seems to be working fine, and that gives us the option to just capture down pawn or do CE stabilize and capture down pawn. So I'm going to say that at the very least it marks them. If they are high priority like this guy might be because they're bleeding out in 2 hours, we can go ahead and still do it manually. But at the very least I can mark them. That way I hopefully don't take the wrong pawn like I've done a couple of times before. You I'm not particularly interested in. You, no, I don't really want you either. I think that'll be fine. And again, no, not really interested. So that should be okay. Now, you are still bleeding out in 2 hours. I would like to go ahead and capture this guy nice and quickly. Do any of you guys have medical skill? Yeah, Emily does. So I'm going to say stabilize dead engineer. And that should be good. And then Emily can go ahead and capture them. Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Let's go ahead and get a finish off on everyone else. I don't believe anyone else really got hurt that badly. Ueli's bleeding out in 18 hours, 5 conditions, 22 hours, and has life-threatening blood loss. Catrion and Puma can now be undrafted. Let's go ahead and get you guys healed up in our hospital. Emily should be taking this down pawn to our prison where we can go ahead and heal them properly and go ahead and get them assigned. So cancel that for the moment. Emily can please prioritize tending, and we will set this prisoner to be recruited. Absolutely fantastic. A couple of people have heat stroke, which is because this room is very, very hot at the moment. 64 degrees. It is unroofed and the doors are open, so we should be okay. This can now be not held open anymore, and all of these doors can now be allowed again. That is going to be important. Allow all of them, and that should be good. Everyone should be happy enough and get a wriggle on here. Perfect. All right. So our guns work. That was a pretty decent raid, if you ask me. I feel like there was a little bit of danger there. They didn't destroy anything too bad, except for our electric stone cutter's table and our loading bench, which is a little bit annoying. I don't believe these remember what we had set up in them, so we will have to redo that, but that is what it is. So we'll come back once they've dealt with this mess and go from there. Alright, Buns is officially grown up as well. They are doing very well on intellect so far, so let's see what we can get for them. Plants, medical, and cooking are our options. Honestly, medical would be probably something that I want more than anything else. And then we need to figure out a trait. Now, we have slow learner. Obviously, that's not good. Pyromaniac, absolutely not. Insatiable is what it is. But kind is generally a better idea. So we're going to go for kind on, who is this? Buns. And get them medical passion. They cannot do medical yet, but that is what they're going to have a passion for. In terms of their work schedule, I'm not going to change that around at all just yet. Where are they? Buns. Well, they need to be able to rescue and firefight. That would be good. And otherwise, I mean, you can do childcare if you really want to. That'll be fine. You could potentially also do some management because that is an intellect-based job. But otherwise, everything else is going to stay as it was. I will move the hauling and cleaning to priority 6. Not that it's going to make any difference whatsoever, but that is what it is. We are going to keep them on the all-round recreation for now, just to give them as much chance as possible to level up their learning. Nanan is doing all right. He's got 23 out of 30 so far. He's only 10 and a half. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. In terms of their bio, construction is slowly climbing a little bit. Crafting is slowly climbing a little bit. Hopefully by the time they are a fully fledged human being, they are fantastic at their new jobs. I did also go ahead and assign someone to actually clean this storeroom, so that should get done nice and quickly. We'll repair the few boxes that got destroyed and go from there. It took a while, but this room is finally deconstructed. Now we need to move on to this one. I will go ahead and move my outpost delivery spot to be in that room. That can now be removed. And I'm going to start with these ones in the middle, but I'm going to do these basically one at a time, just because as soon as I deconstruct these, they're going to spill out all over the floor. And there's honestly not that much room. I also don't know why Matthew is being held in here. Probably because it is a little bit too hot in their bedroom. Yeah, it's 31 degrees in there. That is a little bit excessive. These can now also not be held open anymore, and that should be okay. Not that it really matters either way, but in terms of keeping the temperature nice and stable, I would like those doors to be closed. These are probably working overtime because of it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get those doors closed. I might even go ahead and draft Ueli here and just get them to walk through both of these doors to make sure that they are no longer held open, and that will be absolutely fantastic. I will continue working on deconstructing this, and then we'll start probably our next research. I don't remember exactly when I finished the last one, I'll be honest. I'm going to start it now because I would like electric pumps to be in and done nice and quickly, and then I'll continue deconstructing this in the meantime. Alright, electric pumps is officially finished, and we did not get a raid, so that is fantastic. Question is, where do we go from here? Obviously, we could potentially go into irrigation or something like swimming pools. Yeah, whether or not that's worth it, I don't know. Fluid heat exchange. We could potentially get an electric boiler, make warm showers. Yeah, potentially. Or we could go back into our main tab here and start working on things like armor, like actual armor, rather than what we're currently wearing, which honestly might not be a bad idea. There's also potentially the idea of going into prosthetics, getting ourselves a prosthetic heart for, who is the old person? That would be Ueli. So they have an artery blockage major that is, you know, not doing very good. Their moving is because of their frail. I don't know if we can fix that. Their manipulation is because they're missing their right hand, which I honestly didn't even realize. We should probably check whether or not anyone else has some nasty things like that. You have a peg leg, which we could go ahead and fix, but it's honestly holding up okay for the moment. I don't mind that too much. You're missing a nose, which honestly really doesn't affect anything. Ueli, yeah, right hand is rough. You're missing a right ring finger. That's okay. You don't have a toe or a right eye. Sight's a little bit terrible, but you're doing all right. You also have some scars that we could potentially clear up. You are in a little bit of pain. You don't have a left leg at all, so that should probably get fixed. And Puma here just has a bunch of scars. So yeah, Anders and Ueli should probably go ahead and get a regrow limbs from Medic. I will probably start that off with Anders because they're missing an entire leg. So if I can find Anders, let's go ahead and start that process at the very least as we continue working on this room. So let's go ahead and undraft Medic. You can go ahead and rescue them and we can move on with our day. Water pump has finished though. So let's jump into our plumbing. Grab ourselves the electric pump. I'm going to place that right there. I will need power to go to that, so we can jump in to our power tab, grab a hidden conduit, and I can just run that straight down there. That will connect up nicely, giving all of our latrines water, which will be fantastic. And then we can actually go ahead and start, you know, doing some stuff. So I believe our pump is finished up here, which is good. Our sewage outlet, I should say. So let's start off by deconstructing all of the basins and toilets in here. So we will go ahead and deconstruct. Go ahead and deconstruct. And once that is done, we'll go ahead and replace those to start out with. And once again, we're out of steel. Now, I could potentially have built these out of different things. For instance, I could make a wooden bathtub. That doesn't seem like the best idea in the world. I could also make marble bathtub. That might not be a bad idea. 122 work to build. It's 100 extra work. I think I'm going to do it though. Marble bathtub sounds luxurious. So let's go ahead and do that. While we don't currently have enough marble to get that done, I think we will in the long run. That is still going to require 5 steel, but obviously, you know, that is better than requiring 35 steel, so that should be okay. We could potentially also do the same thing with our basins. In terms of the basin, marble, well, steel is only 10 work to build. This is 53. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We're running low on steel more than anything else, so I'm happy to go ahead and put in a little bit of extra work. Let me just double check they are all marble. I think they are. I hope they are. If they're not, it is what it is. The toilets I will leave as steel. Making marble toilets seems a little bit over the top for me, but I'll let them keep working on that, continue deconstructing all of this, and we will go from there. Alright, once again we have ran out of steel, and I mean honestly we've mined most of this map. So we probably aren't going to find a ton more unless we dig into this, or we potentially dig into this as well. I think I might, just to double check that there's nothing in here, but yeah, it's a little bit slow going. Actually no, let's cancel all of those please. And let's instead just set an order to mine into all of that. Now, hopefully they finish constructing this before they do the rest of it, but, you know, if they don't, it is what it is. And then we'll mine all of that. Are these set to be mined? Or is that just my planning? Okay, cancel that. Perfect. That should be good. They'll mine into that. If we find any steel, fantastic. If we don't, it is what it is. Yeah, we may have to do the caravan thing again. Hopefully we've come to a point where we're making enough steel from our mining outpost. It's making 1152 every 15 days. It doesn't seem like it's quite keeping up, but we did just use a whole bunch of steel, so I'm not 100% sure. We also did recruit Dead, which we need to do something about. So you are officially a crafter. And overall, you're actually not a bad colonist in general, but we are still going to send you off to go ahead and craft at Black Minimar. That is going to be accepted. That is going to be Dead. You can go ahead and take, sure, why not? And we'll send you off on your way to go ahead and do that. We have a logging worksite, a hunting worksite, Are there any mining worksites around here? That would be kind of nice. That's a sealed vault, looted vault. Yeah, really not a whole lot that we can actually do. We did have a brief fire just then, but it should be okay. It'll put itself out. And I also don't think we're making enough water. We may have to increase this next time we get some more steel because, yeah, I don't think this is enough to keep up with all of the bathtubs we just built. Area revealed. Okay, we're okay. That has officially been built as well. Please go ahead and find some steel. That would be absolutely beautiful. If you could find just a little bit of steel is all I need. I don't think there's any compacted steel. There's like the tiniest little bit. Compacted. Oh, Dead has arrived. So I should probably go ahead and pause the game. Okay, we have like 3 pieces down here. Dead has arrived, so we'll go ahead and add them into there. They are now going to produce 66 components every 15 days. Cumulative crafting skill is 33. If we want to upgrade to advanced components, we need a total skill of 50 in there. Thankfully, we don't have a use for advanced components yet, but yeah. Considering this had some steel in it already, I may go ahead and start working on this. The only thing that I'm scared about is I don't know how far back this ancient danger goes. I believe there's some sort of a trick where you can grab a pawn, draft them, and then hover this over. And yeah, there you can see. Well, no. Okay, cancel is empty space. So it looks like it goes to about there, which makes sense. Because, yeah, anything other than that is right there. So we should be okay to at least mine this side of the mountain. I believe there's also a way to strip mine that's probably a lot more efficient than this. So let me actually cancel that. Set up a new mining task, and we will go ahead and strip mine out. We can move over by 2, move over by 2, and move over by 2, and move over by 2 once again. And that should give us a lot more visibility in here. I'll even extend this all the way down because you never know where the steel might end up hiding, and that should be good. So they should start working on that. Once they've finished over here, and that will be fantastic. It doesn't look like we found any steel in here, which is unfortunate, but, you know, like I always say, it is what it is. So we'll come back in a little bit. And we have a lynx hunting Miranda. Thankfully, Miranda is equipped with a bullpup rifle, so sorry, lynx, but you brought this upon yourself by trying to hunt my colonist. Especially a colonist that can quite easily defend themselves. Absolutely fantastic. I am going to continue shooting at you. Just because I couldn't be bothered walking all the way over there, although that seems like it was pretty slow. And you can now be undrafted and continue doing whatever you're doing because this lynx is bleeding out in like no time at all. So, fantastic. We'll continue on for just a little bit longer. Because I realize now that I've been recording for 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we might have to leave this. I'll let Alarius dig like 3 as we do our outro, see if we can find steel. If you guys have enjoyed this series, please do go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below for the sake of engagement. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. If you'd like to be a part of the clan, go ahead and join as a Golden Panda member or above. But until next time, we have steel, but until next time, happy building, happy surviving. Bye, guys.